Yo, 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 what's up, everybody? It's your boy Isaac,
And this is your boy Bryce.
and we are brothers on tennis. And folks, we have come to the second Grand Slam of 2024, Roland Garros. We are on the dirt. There has been a lot of stuff happening coming into this Roland Garros. And Bryce, I tell you, man, this is going to be an interesting one for us to predict, to say the least. How are you
I,
feeling?
I agree with you, and I know some of our listeners are not going to agree with some of the things I'm going to say today, but but I think this is what makes a tournament exciting. When you have various storylines going on and certain uncertainties
Yes.
out there. So we'll jump into all that in just a minute. But before we get started, we want to talk about our good friends over there at the Tennis Channel for a minute. We just want to remind everyone that the biggest names in tennis are coming to Paris. Tennis Channel Plus is the place to watch the Roland Garros Championships. They'll be bringing you courtside coverage with 3 weeks of unparalleled access. Every court is live. You can watch on your phone or your smart TV in HDV. And Roland Garros promises unforgettable moments in new chapters in tennis history. Don't miss legends battle, a new generation of talent, or exciting rivalries emerge on the historic clay courts of Roland Garros. Catch it all with daily live coverage beginning on Monday, May the 27th. Be there when it happens on Tennis Channel Plus.
Very good, my man. Very nicely done. And Tennis Channel, we love Tennis Channel. We love, just all the coverage that they provide for this Roland Garros. So thank you to the Tennis Channel for all that you do. And now, Bryce, predictions. It's this is going to be a really fun Roland Garros to predict. But of course, before we do that, we always talk about our popcorn, and
Yeah.
what talk to me, bro. Any good things that you see or that are standing out to you as it relates to matchups?
Well, let's start with the women since the
Okay.
popcorn list is so short. Yeah.
I know, right?
People, we went through this draw, and normally there's 10 to 12 to 15 matches in the first round that we're like, ooh, these are popcorn matches, and we want to make sure we catch these. That was not the case this year.
No.
I know for me personally, I was only able to come up with four
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
meant anything for me. And actually, I will start with the one that is the weakest of the four,
All
and
right.
that is Sasha Vickery versus Ons Jabeur in the first round. And the only reason why I call that out is, yes, Sasha is sister girl, so always keep one eye out on her. But Ons Jabeur has really been not on one recently, taking L's just on the random. So if there was ever a time that Sasha Vickery wanted to take out a top seed at a major, here's an opportunity for her. Not saying that she will, but that's why I'm calling it a popcorn match, because I actually think for the first time it's a possibility.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And again, we always want to reflect on those, the folk in the draw as well. So the fact
Mm,
that she is playing against Aunt, and she had a couple good victories early on in the clay court season. So Sasha Victory can play very well on this surface. So we'll
mhm.
see what happens, man. I've got some just mentions. I'm just going to throw mine out because, like Bryce said,
Yeah.
I don't know that we saw a lot of really outstanding popcorn matches on the ladies' side. Some things just to mention, I'll say is Isla Tomjanovic versus Yastrzemska, only because Isla's coming back on. We haven't seen her in a while, so it's good to see her. So that's just a mention. And another one would be Andreescu. She's back and she's be playing Cerebus Tormo. I feel like that's again someone we haven't seen in a while, so that's a good one to watch out for. You've got Cornet, who's going to be retiring, and she's playing Queenie, Kinwin Zhang Kinwin in the first round.
Mhm.
So again, just to mention, not that that's a popcorn match. And I threw out there Samsonova and Lynette only because they it's a toss up in my opinion as to who's going to take that one. So those are sort of my non popcorn. But I think the four that you talked about, Bryce, I'll go ahead and let you throw those out to the people.
Okay. Well, I had three more on my
Yeah,
list,
yeah,
and I'll start with the other folk one I had out there, and that was Sloane Stevens playing Yulia Putintseva. And they just played recently, like a week or two ago. And we said, even back then, we said, that's not a good matchup for Sloane. And
no,
Putintseva came out there and showed everyone why it was not. So you don't know whether, Sloane from a revenge standpoint steps it up this time and takes the victory. But the reason we called it out last time is because Putintseva been playing really well, and
yeah.
she might come in there fully confident, having recently beaten Sloane, and say, hey, been there, done that. Let's do it again.
Exactly. Hopefully, Sloane did her homework and is prepared for that match because Yulia Putintseva always comes ready. Always comes ready for a fight. And we've interviewed her a few times. She is a lovely young lady, but when she gets out on the court, she ain't trying to play around.
No, not at all. Not at all. So
Yeah.
we definitely wanted to keep our good eye on that one. Another one, and once again, Isaac, like you were talking about before, a lot of this is based upon form.
Yeah.
Since Paula Badosa has freed herself from that situation, we've seen kind of a resurgence in her game.
Yes, we
And
have.
she's looked really, really good. But also who has looked good this year is Katie Bolter. And we don't know if it's that, these are kind of like two relationship things going on. Badosa just got out of one, but Bolter and DeMonier are going strong, and they are both
locked.
having a great year. So I really can't tell you which way that one's going to go.
I'm gonna tell you what though, Bryce. The power couple does have a little bit of a concern because quietly he ain't got no easy first round match either, and I'm talking about Alex DeMonier. So
Right.
so quietly, Katie and Demon. All right now.
Right.
So just saying, it's gonna be tough for Bolter because, like you said, Badosa has been looking really good.
Yes.
And I don't think that clay is Katie's best surface. So I honestly am giving the edge to Paula Badosa in this matchup.
Yeah. I can't argue with you on that one at all.
Yeah.
So moving on, moving on to my final one that I had on my list, which is, cue the old school music. It's one of our faves, Alina Svitolina. And she's been, helping to lead the charge for the moms on the tour. And you have, I was getting ready to say the good Pliskova, but I think she's the only Pliskova at this point. I really don't know where she is. I mean, I don't know. But, whenever you've got to serve and whenever you've got, a track history behind you of performing well at majors, that can show itself at any time. So, I'm definitely edging with Svitolina based upon current form, but you never know what she might or may not do.
You are right about that, brother. I agree 100% on that whole assessment. I'm leaning Svitolina, but you just never know with Carolina. She can always pull out some good tennis. So, we'll have to see on that one. But folks, that's pretty much it as far as popcorn matches on the women's side. So yeah, not a lot. I think there are potential second round matchups that will be really well. Really good. I not that going into the draw, not to go in deep, but it looks as though Naomi Osaka may end up having a second round against Iga, which hurt my heart to see because it's like, I just wanted Naomi to be able to have at least a workable draw that she could, maybe get deep, maybe a third, maybe a fourth round, even maybe but so anyway, that one kind of hurt my heart, to be very honest with you. But anyway.
Yeah, and from a Naomi standpoint, maybe the one positive out of that is if she can win that first round match, there is zero shame in losing to Iga Swiatek at Roland Garros. I mean, zero. If you come out and you say, "Yeah, I lost to Iga Swiatek at Roland Garros, everybody's like, of course you did.
Of course you did. Yeah.
You know,
Right.
right. I saw in an article somewhere they were saying, at another tournament, Iga would probably not like this draw either. But on clay and at Roland Garros, she feeling just fine.
She feeling just fine. She's like, y'all, I'm good, y'all. I'm good.
That's hilarious.
All right.
We did want to mention, since we're just talking women,
Yeah.
right now, we saw on the news this morning that, unfortunately, once again, we're talking about a folk, Taylor Townsend had to pull out of the tournament. Apparently, and Isaac, how do you pronounce that tournament's name? The Rabat.
I just say Rabat. Yeah.
Okay. Apparently, she injured her ankle there, and she's been trying to get herself right for Roland Garros, and just it's not looking good. So she's going to go ahead. And remember, sometimes the smartest thing you can do is to know when you should not play.
Correct.
And don't mess up the rest of your season. And we know Taylor, she likes clay a lot, but she's also very effective on grass. So let's, speedy recovery wishes out to you, Taylor, and hopefully we see you back out on the courts soon.
Absolutely. Well said, brother.
So Isaac, let's bounce over to popcorn matches on the men. We have a few more here
have a couple
to talk about. Mm-hmm. So why don't you kick us off with that?
Well, I mean, we were talking about Jim's life initially with Svitolina, and the first one I saw was Monfils versus Zaibachvili. If that's how you pronounce it, I don't even know right. But I tell you what, that's going to be a rough matchup for Gael because Zaibachvili, Thiago can play on some clay, and we've seen that over the season. He is trying to establish himself as kind of one of those up-and-comers on the tour, and he has a great game. I know, we love us some Gael. Yes, he's going to be at Roland Garros in his home, country. It's going to take a big effort for him. So I hope he comes out prepared. And the fact that he had to pull out of the previous tournament due to an illness, nothing physically wrong, as I understand it, but he did have to pull out due to illness. That's concerning to me that he might have some trouble in that matchup, bro.
Well, and let's not forget, Thiago in the last tournament had to retire.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that. That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
So, I'd rather a guy pull out with illness than a retirement in a match because something was wrong to not allow him to finish that match. So,
right.
But yes, I'm with you. I had that match on my list as well.
Right.
But guess what, Isaac? You know what match I had before that one?
Oh, which one? Uh-oh.
I had Novak Djokovic and Hebert because if you watch the match this morning,
now
I know we always say Djokovic can come in and he can turn it around on a dime, but if he ain't right and Hebert's at home and he's got that crafty coming to the net game and all that, I'm gonna have an eye on that match.
So I hear what you were saying. Here's my thinking on this.
Okay.
Djokovic, I feel like he played the tournament to get reps. Honestly, all of that stuff he was doing with Mahach today, honestly, for me, this is Novak just wanting to get to Roland Garros to start his preparation. I don't think that's wrong. He got the ice. Oh my goodness, I'm dizzy and this. I'm like, Novak, stop all this. Just
He's
ain't
so
nothing wrong with you, boy. You so drama. Ain't nothing wrong with you. Ain't nothing wrong with you. So for me, I hear what you're saying and I agree with you based on what we saw. But I honestly feel like he was doing a Gael Monfils as they be talking about. Like he was playing possum. He's just like, I don't need to win this 250. I feel like I done got my reps. I feel good. I'm about to be out, and I'm about to get to Paris. So anyway, that's enough on Novak. But I ain't mad at you for seeing it.
No, and actually, I don't disagree with you. That's my going in position. But what he has to be careful of too is building the confidence of his opponents at the same time.
You're exactly right.
Because wait a minute, he still hasn't won a tournament this year, right?
No, he has not.
Yeah.
No.
So we'll see. But I do believe if I had to pick a reason, you're more correct than not.
Yeah, so but I like that fact that you check that out, or you mentioned that one. One of the folks that he beat in this tournament that I kind of flagged was Humphrey, who I love his game. He is playing Francisco Cerundolo. That is going to be a good match, people.
It is.
I'm telling you. Yes, Bryce, come on.
That is going to be a good match. I like both of them. Hoffman is one of my pandemic guys. Yeah. I got hip to him during the pandemic, and really am still a little surprised that he hasn't done better than he has. But he will have a good result there on you in a minute. And Cerundolo, but you know what? He's another one who has a great game, one of the best forehands on tour, but he doesn't really consistently have the results that I thought he was going to have. So
correct.
But I do think for them as a matchup in the first round, that's a good one.
That is a good one. To me, that is popcorn. I will definitely be trying to watch that. That is for sure. Yeah.
I hate to bring it up, but it was just next on the draw. You know, it's the match that everybody is talking about, and that is Rafael Nadal, the king of clay. A GOAT, member of the Big Three and the Big Four and the Big Five. You know, he's going up against a guy that just won the Italian Open, Sasha Zverev, the guy who continues to say if he had not rolled his ankle at that French Open, he was going to beat Nadal then. He is a huge threat, and a lot of Nadal fans are very disappointed with this draw. But I just want to real quickly give my perspective on this. I don't necessarily think this is a bad thing for Nadal. And what I mean by that is, in the first round, this is going to be the healthiest Nadal is going to be the entire tournament. All right? He does have a 7-3 record against Zverev, but I know Nadal and his camp knows that and don't get me wrong, this is not a given. Zverev is about as tough of a challenger as he's going to get in the first round. But if he does win this match, he now goes from being unseeded to having the path of the 4th seed. And if you look in the draw, his next couple of rounds would not be, I shouldn't say not be that challenging, because this is the professional tour and anything can happen on any given day.
Right.
But let's just leave it at that. He has the path of the number 4 seed. If there was ever a reason for this guy meaning Nadal, to get up at his best tournament anywhere and to win a match, it is this one.
Absolutely. I love that perspective, Bryce. I absolutely love how you stated it, because you're right. He will be at his healthiest in that first round match. He's played Zverev before. Like you said, he has the head-to-head lead. So if magic is going to happen, it would be in that first round. I absolutely agree with you 100% on the perspective. That is for sure. Yeah. It's definitely the popcorn match, of course, because of course, before the draw came out, we were all wondering, where is Nadal going to fall? Who is he going to fall? Who's he going to fall? And it just happened to be Zverev. So it is what it is. And, got to lace him up and got to go make it happen.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I am with you there. I was talking, just jumping forward. I was talking about, of course, the power couple in Katie Bolter and Alex de Minaur. Well, I tell you what, Alex de Minaur plays Alex Mickelson of the United States, and let me tell you, Mickelson is not trying to play around. He has beaten Alex before. And so he ain't going to go in scared. And the fact that he just took out Taylor Fritz in this tournament, his confidence is right. So honestly, Bryce, I'm leaning towards Mickelson in this matchup. As crazy as it sounds, because I love Demon. I love Demon. Love from Alex de Minaur. We do. But at the same time, Alex Mickelson, man, he impressed me. He is impressing me a lot, bro. So popcorn, y'all. Popcorn. Gotta watch that one.
and let's add two of the nicest guys that we've met. You know, I
Absolutely agree.
mean, so good luck to both of them.
Yeah.
Oh, Isaac, this next one.
I know.
So we all have our personal favorites, and you know, both of us are huge fans of Medvedev.
Yes.
And we have been impressed with how he has turned around his clay court abilities. I mean, you know, Medvedev used to just get dusted once he got on a clay court, and now he's really starting to hold his own. But personally, I've always been a big fan of Dominic Kupfer, who is excellent on clay, the German. Um, you know, I expect best of five for Medvedev to pull it out, but uh, it is not an easy first round match.
No, not at all. Not at all. I think that's going to be a tough one for Medvedev. I do agree with you. I do see him pulling that out, but Kepfer is always up for a fight. I feel like he will definitely get a set, if not two, like you mentioned, and take it to a fifth. That was going to be a dog fight, y'all. So definitely you need to tune into that one.
Right.
That one will be good. Bryce, the next one that I had here was, you know, kind of a you know, battle of a previous U.S. Open fight that we were actually on the grounds and saw a part of, and that's Matteo Arnaldi versus our boy Arthur Fils. Arnaldi got him on the day, and I'm telling you what, man, I'm kind of leaning towards Arnaldi because Fils is not where I guess I thought he would be this year, you know, given kind of how he showed up and showed out in 2023. His results have been a bit inconsistent, whereas Matteo Arnaldi has really stepped up his game, and he's playing some really, really good tennis. So it'll be interesting to see what comes out of this, because clay, I feel like Fils is better on clay than Arnaldi, but I don't know. From a confidence standpoint, I'm struggling with this one, bro. But I tell you what, it's gonna be a good match.
Yeah. I remember that match. Arnaldi took him in 5 there at the U.S. Open. You know, we just posted some footage earlier today from our BOTOG Paul Oakley Stovall, and he was there watching Fils practice with George.
Nice.
And so, I mean, hopefully, we're obviously voting and rooting for Fils to pull this match out, but these are two of the best of the next generation coming up, and I would not be surprised to see Arnaldi pull that one out either.
Yeah. We'll see what happens. I like both of them, but you know, we definitely want Fils to come through if possible.
Right. This next one I have on my list, I think I just don't know which way it's going to go. And, you know, one is a French guy, Humbert, who started off this year very strong. He's actually kind of cooled off a little bit lately. So I'm not exactly sure where he's at, but he's playing Sonego, who is great on clay, great for an upset all the time. And I really don't know how to call that one. I think it's going to be whoever plays better on the day.
I agree with you on that because, Sonego, I like that guy. I like his game. I like he's kind of wild and wiry, you know, wash on, wash off. No, wax on, wax off. Sorry, wrong one. But I do like him and I like his game. So you're right. That one will be a toss-up. That's going to be interesting. I mean, and Bryce, the next one that I have, of course, is the battle of the old school. You know, when you were talking about the big Nadal, big 3, big 4, big 5, well, this would be the big 5 in Andy Murray versus Stan Wawrinka. Who do you pick? I have no clue, but I'll tell you what, I'm gonna be watching that match big time because you know, that's just a throwback to me, and that just gives me all the feels. So
I mean, I totally agree with you. I personally have to give the edge to Stan just because he's won one of these before over Djokovic. And Murray, but Murray's as tough of a challenger as you're gonna get. Right. And so you try to find the silver lining here, right? And that is, okay, both of them can't lose in the first round. So
There you go. Somebody's going to get to the second, so there you go.
Right. This next one I have is interesting. I just spoke about Chorich practicing with Arthur Feast, but Gasquet, who, he's kind of rounding out his career as well, but he is excellent on clay, and you can never play around with that backhand. Never. And he's still in really good shape. I mean, Chorich has been kind of in and out. Yep. So I don't really know where he's at. We know Chorich is always good for an upset. I just think it's going to be a good battle. I do think Gasquet's best chances are to win it in 3 or at most 4.
Right.
I think, when we start to get into that 5-set land, Gasquet he started to get a little winded, but I'm going to be very interested in this match.
That would be a good match. That definitely, I agree with you. That'll be a good one. Brother, did you have any other matches? I've got only one more on my list.
Only one more, so it may be the same one.
I'm pretty sure it is, and that's our brother from another mother, Chris Eubanks. Unfortunately, he got a tough one. It depends on what happens, though. He will be playing Yannick Sinner. We don't know how that hip is for Yannick Sinner. We don't know, is he really healthy? How is he feeling? We do know that clay is not Chris's, favorite surface. But again, if you get a hampered Yannick Sinner in the first round, you never know. So
is it Sinner's favorite surface?
Exactly. And it's not. Yeah, exactly. So who knows what's going to happen on that one? I initially saw it and was like, ugh. But then I was like, well, wait a minute, though. It depends on what we get from, the number 2 player in the world. So
the other thing that I would throw out there, and I'm not trying to overhype the situation, people be like, oh, now calm down. When you have the type of game that Chris Eubanks has, which is, very aggressive, very high risk, and you're going in against a center where your only chance you're not going to outstroke him.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
When your only shot to win is to potentially hit him off the court, and you go out with that mindset and you are on.
Yeah. Yeah. And
he has to be on.
Yeah, yes. He has to be on, and you have to have a center that's not 100% healthy.
Exactly.
Which it's a possibility.
Right. So I give him a puncher's chance. Right.
There you go. Perfect term. I like that term, puncher's chance, because that's what he's gonna have to do. He's gonna come out. He's gonna have to come out swinging. Yeah. And hopefully land one or two good ones.
Right. And one of the things I do like about what Center has done, and we've been talking about this a little bit in this episode, is that kind of knowing when not to play. And if, like you said, if he feels something during the course of that match that ain't right,
yeah,
there
you go.
It could be the FAA route to the tournament for Chris Eubanks.
Exactly, because at the end of the day, nobody gonna remember. They're gonna be like, "Hey, he just made it this far." So there you go. I agree 100%. So, brother, I know we are about to get into our prediction phase. Probably a good time for a commercial break.
Yes. So we'll be right back. We're back.
All right, brother. So Bryce, it's so weird that we have a complete flip as it relates to our draw previews. In the past, it has always been, whoa, this women's draw, who in the world are we going to blah, blah, blah. And the men's draw is, it's pretty much to form. We know who's going to be there. Y'all flip. So let's jump into the women's draw, Bryce, and let's talk about predictions there.
All right. So we're starting with the quarterfinals, right?
Yes, correct.
Okay. So do you want me to? I forgot. Am I going through the whole, or am I going just to the top?
Let's hit the top. Hit the top first, and then I'll hit the top, and then we'll jump to the bottom.
Okay. So I have for the top for the women coming through the quarterfinals, the number 1 seed, Iga Swiatek. Enough said. But I actually have her meeting in the quarters Danielle Collins.
Okay.
Vondrousova is the highest seed or is the person who's seeded to meet Swiatek, but y'all know Danielle Collins is on one right now. And I fully expect for her to get to the quarters. I didn't really see anybody that I felt she was not going to beat to get the Iga. Then down below that, I have Coco Gauff making it through, and really didn't see anybody that I felt threatened her to the quarters. And because we've talked about how shady Jabeur has been, I have Ostapenko coming through for that quarterfinal spot up top.
That's why do I even need to talk, folks? Why? Because we have the exact same predictions. They're exactly the same. I have Iga over Alexandrova, Collins over Vondrousova, which I feel so bad for Collins because in any other section, I may have picked her to actually get that one. But it is what it is. I have Coco taking out Samsonova, and I have Ostapenko taking out Ons Jabeur.
Yeah.
So we got the same folks, brother.
Okay, we'll start us off on the bottom.
All right. Well, the bottom is a little more interesting, of course. Well, I mean, it's really not, but still. I have Queenie, Zhang Qinwen, playing Rybakina in the quarters. I have Queenie taking out Paolini. So I'm hoping Paolini can at least make the fourth round. And I actually have Rybakina taking out Svitolina. So I've got Rybakina and Queenie. And then, of course, at the bottom, I have Sakkari taking out Mira Andreeva. And I have, of course, Big Sab taking out Madison Keys. Because Madison actually is really playing some good ball. And I do see her making it to that fourth round. I really do. But she ain't going to have nothing for Big Sab. Big Sab is, yeah. So that's who I got, brother. Who you got?
We're 50%.
Okay.
On that one. So good. Some differences here.
It's some difference. That's good.
Yeah. So I actually had the reverse of you for that first quarterfinal. I have Paolini taking out Queenie.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think on this surface, if this was a faster surface, I was going to give the edge to Queenie. I would give the edge to Queenie, but Paolini is playing really well, and this is her best surface. And if she's going to do something, and I done already voted for Queenie once this year, so I got to get back to folk side before I get canceled. So I have Paolini, and I do have her meeting. Now, I have an asterisk by Rybakina's name for any time I'm choosing her in this draw because I'm uncertain as to what's going on with her health-wise.
Right.
If health is not an issue, I see her taking out Svitolina. But, if the health thing kicks in, not really sure.
Very fair.
But have her take out Svitolina. Then at the bottom, I agree with you. I have Sabalenka taking out Keys because I do see Keys making it there. I had to think a minute on this other one, and I ultimately ended up going with Azarenka.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. When I had to really go surface with clay. And Sakkari has been playing better with, now that she's under David Witt, and that's great. But I think Azarenka has her best shot against her on clay. And then, now here's the real interesting thing. The person who I was really concerned with was Kasatkina.
Right.
And I had to think about that matchup, but let me tell you something that Kasatkina got to watch out for. I don't know if y'all saw that Peyton Stearns match yesterday where she was down in the third 0-5, 40-30.
Right.
And came back and won
that match. Back and won, exactly.
So Stearns, and that's our 513 crew right there. She's a major wild card on what because she threw up the whole little post of the dog. She got the dog in her. She got the dog in. Hey, you coming with that kind of attitude?
Yeah, and won today, and toughed out a real tough one today as well. So she is on one. 513 is on one.
So although I differed with Paolini and Azarenka, I think as we progress through the draw, we're going to end up in the same place.
I think you're right. I mean, seriously, what do you do, Bryce? I mean, honestly, for me, again, had Danielle Collins fallen in a different part of the draw, I probably would have picked her. Honestly, I would have picked her over Rybakina. And I honestly, as hard as I know this may sound bad, y'all, don't be getting up on me, but it's the truth.
Right.
I would have picked Danielle over Coco the way that they are playing right now. Danielle Collins is on fire. But again, against a Sabalenka and against a Iga, I'm sorry. Right. That's who she's lost to. That's the only two players that she's lost to since Indian Wells, I believe. So, no. So for me, it's pretty simple, Bryce. I have the top 4 seeds making it to the quarters. I mean, making it to the semis.
I got 3 of the 4.
Oh, who'd you call the upset on? All right. Who'd you call the upset on? Wait a minute.
Well, you kind of spoke on it. I took Ostapenko over Coco.
Yeah.
Ostapenko, previous champion here at Roland Garros, ain't scared of nobody. Got mad offense. And Coco, I'm sorry, she just isn't looking as strong right now. The serve has me concerned. Yeah. You cannot give free points to Ostapenko.
No.
Now, let me be very clear. I want Coco to win.
Absolutely.
I absolutely want Coco to win. But I'm kind of leaning towards Ostapenko here.
I honestly, I can't be mad at you on that choice. Because again, given form, and you know Ostapenko is always good for an upset, and she always good for a good fight. I'm hoping that Coco will be able to pull on her athleticism. She'll be able to be aggressive with that forehand side, because you're going to have to be aggressive if you're playing against Ostapenko. So, again, I think it's 50-50, bro. I agree with you, though. I can't be mad at you on that pick. Not at all.
Right. But I'm with you on the other one. I had Swiatek over Danielle Collins. I had a healthy Rybakina over Paolini. I had Sabalenka over Azarenka. So
there you go.
And so there's a little beef there, right, between Sabalenka and Azarenka, right?
A little bit, right? A little bit. You know, they're country women, but still, there's, Right. I think when that whole, Azarenka kind of, when Sab jumped over her, I think there was some beef kind of started with that. So yeah, it's all good though. So Bryce, who are you picking to make your finals?
Who you and I talked about weeks ago. I think it's 1 versus 2. I think it's Iga versus Sabalenka. Sabalenka has gone as far to try to call that out, and the end of the tournament speech. I think they are the 1-2.
Yeah, I 100% agree with you. That is who I have making my final as well. So, like you said, we ended up in the same place. Who'd you pick?
Boy, you know who I picked.
I know.
I mean, of all the majors, Swiatek's a contender at all of them, but the one where she to me is most clearly the favorite, is Roland Garros. If it's Australia, if it's the U.S. Open, if it's Wimbledon, I can't step out there as confidently.
Right.
This is the one. I mean, she is and not to really put this on her back, but, for me, she's kind of like the female Rafa right now for me with Roland Garros.
Yep. 100% agree. 100% agree. And that's why I too am picking Iga. It would take a absolute 110% effort from Sabalenka in order to even, in my opinion, contend for the title. Not to win it, but to contend for it. Because like I said, we saw in Rome, which the conditions resemble Roland Garros. Iga was like,
you're not ready.
You thought that little Madrid battle was no, that was altitude, sweetie. No, just the Roland Garros right here. And I got you. Right. So I don't see that changing at all.
No, I agree with you.
Yeah.
So that's the women.
That's the women, bro. Oh man, now we get to this crazy, this crazy
Oh,
men's
this,
draw.
this is crazy, man.
Oh my
This is
god.
still crazy.
Yeah, all of this, and it's like there's so many uncertainties because of so many of the top players not knowing what form that they're in. So you're just kind of
Right.
having to go out there with I think. So hey,
Right.
let's start at the top. So I'll go ahead and kick this one off. My quarterfinals, I have pretty standard. It's actually I've got Novak versus Casper Ruud. I
Mm-hmm.
have Novak taking out Tommy Paul in the fourth round, and I
Mm-hmm.
actually have Casper Ruud taking out Taylor Fritz in the fourth round.
Okay.
Yeah, because I feel like Taylor, even though I tell you what, I do feel like it was a bad decision for Taylor to play this last tournament. I
Mm-hmm.
feel like he should have just gone into Roland Garros with on the high that he was on, having
Mm-hmm.
lost in a 250 to a fellow American young upstart that you had not played before. That
Mm-hmm.
to me, that has to hit his confidence a little
That's
bit.
stung. Yeah.
Yeah, that stung. So I don't know that
Mm-hmm.
he made the right decision playing that tournament. But with all of that said, I still believe that he'll make it at least to the fourth round. And the other one I have is Zverev taking out Runa, and I actually have Medvedev taking out Struth.
Okay.
So who you got?
Oh, this is where I lose my tennis analyst card. Um, but we gonna roll with it.
roll with it.
Look, I've been right enough in my life to take this L. So I actually have in the quarters Tommy Paul.
Mm. There you have it.
I do. I have
Okay.
Tommy Paul because you know what?
Oh.
Like I said, Djokovic ain't won that all year.
Right.
I mean, granted, I agree with you with the whole acting thing, but at a certain point, you have to look at numbers. And this guy has taken L's to a lot of folks. And I'm looking at he potentially has a second round, maybe. I don't have the draw in front of me. Matchup with is it Musetti?
I think so. Yeah.
Who already has shown that he knows how to put it on Djokovic.
Yes.
I think that could be a challenge. Wait a minute. First of all, if he gets past Hebert, if he gets past Musetti, and I think Tommy Paul has looked really good since he's come back from the ankle injury type thing.
I agree.
I think we have continued to look for where is Tommy Paul's defining moment.
Mm-hmm.
I think he has his opportunity right here. Even if Djokovic gets through, especially across 5 sets, potentially, I'm going with Tommy. Let's go.
All right, let's go.
Let's go. And I have Tommy meeting Casper Ruud.
Okay.
Like you said, over Fritz, over Klayler. Okay. If you let me keep my card, here's where you're really going to take it. I have Rafael Nadal. And let me tell you, for me with Rafa, I'm doing the exact same thing I'm doing with Rybakina.
Mm-hmm.
If Rafael Nadal stays healthy, meaning if he doesn't take himself out, I cannot. And look, for those of you who have been listening to us for the last 5 years or whatever, I've made this statement a gazillion times, and this ain't a time for me to come off of it. Rafael Nadal at Roland Garros is my pick until he's not.
There you go.
So that should give you some indication for later on in this conversation. But I have him, taking out Zverev and Runa. Because number one, I ain't scared of Runa when it comes to best of 5 in a Grand Slam.
No.
And I have him meeting Medvedev, who I have getting there over Demon Yard.
Oh, okay, over Demon. Okay, gotcha. Well, we got 2 of this 4, so that's that's pretty. It's very significant, but it's 2 of the 4,
right? So, so I'll go ahead and start the bottom then.
Yes.
Okay. Boy, y'all gonna stop listening to me. So I have for the 4 at the bottom, I have Tsitsipas come through. I think Tsitsipas has looked good leading up to this tournament. I have him getting there, through Rublev.
Yep.
I have Alcaraz coming through. And what I like about Alcaraz is there's not a lot of talk about him taking the time. He's been injured. He's taken time off. Ferrero just came out and said, y'all better keep y'all good eye on Carlos at this tournament. And when your coach come out and say that, and of course he didn't use that term,
Right.
but if he was aware of it, he would have used it. So I have Carlos coming through, and he's really in a good section. I mean, Korda, I know Korda and him have had some interesting matches, but I see him coming through that. And I know you got Shelton in that section, but not on clay. So I have Tsitsipas and Carlos Alcaraz. I love you, Coach CB. I have Hubie Hurkacz coming through to the quarters over Dimitrov.
Wow.
And I have Nicholas Jarry coming through over Sinner.
Wow. Okay, you did step out there. You better step. You better go in and step. Listen, you are not playing around, are you? Wow. Okay, so we got the two. So
okay.
For me, I agree with you 100%. I feel like Tsitsipas will take out Rublev. I picked Alcaraz to come through. I actually picked Alcaraz to come through over FAA. I don't know why I picked FAA, but I'm hoping that he makes a good run and gets to the fourth round. And to me, that would be good for him. So, so we did have that right. Tsitsipas and Carlos in the quarterfinal. Okay, Coach CB, I love you as well, but unfortunately, I picked Grigor. I just feel like Grigor is a little bit more. He has a little bit more depth on clay than Hubie does. I feel like that one, if any of them, will be like a 5-setter.
Right?
Was it 10-point tiebreak type thing in the fifth? But I do have Grigor coming through that one. And again, like you said, asterisk. I love me some Jari, and I have that same matchup, Jari versus Sinner. But I picked Sinner only because if Sinner is going to make it that far, then I feel like he's healthy enough that he should be able to then take out Nicholas Jari. And Nicholas has had a great season, but again, he even talked about in his previous matches how he get nervous and blah blah blah. And you can't be getting nervous against a Yannick Sinner because he will be like, "Oh, I got you."
Right.
So I went the safe route. I feel like
no, I get it.
But yeah, I have Sinner and Grigor battling it out on the bottom half too. So
okay, all right.
Yeah,
I see you.
Yeah, our predictions are wild, bro. Oh my goodness. Okay. So top half, which of course will be different because we had different people. I actually have Novak versus Zverev. Who do you have in the semi?
I have Ruud versus Nadal.
Wow. Yeah. Y'all, this is a first. Bryce and I are never like this far off.
Right.
Wow. All right.
That coffee was strong this morning.
Ain't no wrong. Because honestly, Bryce, as crazy as it is, any of these matchups are good. I mean, really, truly. So it's like, I don't know that we as fans can go wrong either way. I mean, come on, Novak versus Zverev or Ruud versus Rafa, you're not going to lose. There is no loser in that from a fan perspective.
And just real quick, I mean, I had Ruud coming over Paul. So if Paul does have that blockbuster win, he may be a little drunk, from that in the next round. And let's be clear, Ruud and Tsitsipas have had two of the best lead-ups to Roland Garros. So that's not a stretch. And let's not forget, Ruud's been to the French Open final twice. Roland Garros final twice. So that's why I kind of picked him to come through.
Okay.
And I already told you about Nadal. So
Exactly. So there you go. So what about your bottom half? What do you have making the semis on the bottom?
Well, I'm listening to Coach Ferrero, and I took Alcaraz over Tsitsipas.
Okay.
And I took Jerry over Herkic.
Wow. Yeah. So I, of course, took Carlos as well over
Mhm.
CC I still got Sinner. I still have Sinner
Okay.
coming through because again, I feel like if he makes it that far, then he's got some level of form. So I have him coming,
Right.
beating Grigor to make it to the semifinals.
Right.
Yeah.
And then for me, in the finals, I have Nadal versus Alcaraz.
Well, we
And
got go ahead.
and I'm gonna say the only way my spirit can be good with Nadal losing at Roland Garros, it would be the Alcaraz.
Well, there you
Even
go.
though that's not who I picked.
Exactly.
15.
Hey, bro, I would not be mad at that as well. And I know some of y'all are gonna be like, "What?" But for me, I like you have Carlos making it to the final.
Mm-hmm.
I have a repeat of last year. I actually have Novak taking out Zverev and making it to the final. So I have Novak versus Carlos.
Oh, now who do you have winning?
Oh, I'm gonna get such hate mail. I have Novak getting 25, bro. I have Novak. I have
Really?
Novak getting. I just feel like he needed those matches this week to get his rhythm right.
Mm-hmm.
Novak is just a different beast when it comes to the Grand Slams. And if Rafa is not there to stop him, I do not believe
Mm-hmm.
any of these little kids are going to be able to get him. I just don't.
Okay.
And so, like you said, if Rafa is able to come out of that Zverev match,
Mm-hmm.
I at that point then I would be concerned about my pick. But with the youngsters,
Mm-hmm.
I pick Novak.
Look, the person who has the most major titles. I mean,
Yeah, I
take
guess
off somebody.
I guess
You
he
can't.
is number one player in the world, and he has the most Grand Slams. So I guess it's not like I'm far reaching, but
No.
I just feel like I am though. I feel like it's like, did you really just pick Novak?
Well, because we look at it at a different level, right?
Right,
It's
right.
not a surface looking level review for us. We're not saying, oh, number one here. We're looking at current form, we're looking at history, we're looking at surface, we're looking at opponents. They all play a part,
Right. But anyway you go, Bryce, I don't think that there is a bad matchup at all on the men's side. I
No.
think this is going to be such an outstanding Roland Garros. I am so geeked for this tournament. I can't tell you how excited I have been for this one. This is going to be good, y'all.
Well, and then adding on, I don't know about you, but when I pulled the draws, they did not have the doubles draws out yet.
No.
And not that I'm so interested in what the draws are as I am specifically on the women's side, who's playing with who, because one thing we have not talked about is Jessica Pegula pulling out of Roland Garros. And, because of that, I'm curious who Coco Gauff is going to be playing doubles with, because Taylor Townsend ain't going to be there.
Yep. I hope it's another American, if just for the fact of the potential for the Olympics that's coming up.
Right.
But you never know. I don't know.
Right.
Yeah.
That's going to be interesting.
Yeah.
So, I'm excited as well. As a reminder, Roland Garros is one of the majors that starts on Sunday versus Monday. So I don't think do they have the order of play out yet for Sunday?
I don't think that they do.
Okay.
I think they just were showing the Americans and who they battled in the first round, but I don't think they showed who the actual lineup is just yet.
Okay. That'll be interesting to see who plays on Sunday. Yeah. I want them to put Rafa in there for Sunday, which Rafa would love, because if you think about it, if he wins, it gives him a couple of days.
Right.
Before he would have to play again. So if, they were saying because he was placed against Zverev, anybody who thought the draw might be fixed, that threw that out the window. But what they can do is they can put the order of play in his favor,
Correct.
which I think would be playing on Sunday.
Yeah, I agree with you. I completely agree. Get it going early. That way, again, if he's able to get that victory, he has a couple days to, because it's going to take, I guarantee you, Bryce, if Rafa is up to form, that's going to still be a 5-set match, I believe, because Zverev is playing some really good tennis. So
he is serving his butt off.
Ooh, right?
Yeah.
Crazy. Yeah. And for someone that had the yips on the second serve, for him to be bombing them like that, it's really impressive. So again, like you said, hopefully if they do it, just let's go on ahead and kick it off with a bang. That way, again, if Nadal comes through, boom, he gets a few days to really recover, and we can really see some good tennis from him out in the second round. So
absolutely,
fingers crossed.
Well, my friend, I think we've just about covered everything. Any final words, final thoughts from you?
No, man, just excited. I'm just extremely excited about this Roland Garros, and hopefully everybody who is listening and or viewing this is as well. This is going to be a fantastic tournament on both sides of the draw. You know, can Iga hold off the field, which I think she can, and who is going to be the surprise victor on the men's side? Because again, there is nobody that is firm right now. So y'all, it's about to be good. How about you, brother?
Real good. No, I just want to remind our listeners and followers that we will be back here next weekend to do our mid-fortnight review. We will, well, I guess particularly me, we have to face up to some of these predictions and maybe make some adjustments. But it's going to be interesting to see where we're at after a week. And as I stated earlier, we have our guy, Paul Oakley-Stovall, over there in Paris, and continue to follow us on social media as he will be providing some on-site correspondence for Brothers on Tennis. Thank you, Paul.
Thanks, Paul.
So with that, everyone, look, enjoy the tennis, enjoy the dirt. We sure will. And on behalf of the podcast, this has been your boy, Bryce.
And this is your boy, Isaac.
And we are Brothers on Tennis. Everybody be well.